Hey everybody, this is Darron Story from Kansas City After Hours, and you're actually watching KansasCityAfterHours.com, your home for all kinds of cool stuff that we're going to be doing over the summer to let you know what's happening in Kansas City and talking to some interesting and wonderful people. And by the way, right next to me to my right, I have author and filmmaker Heidi Bacon, and I like bacon, which means I like you.
Oh, I like you too, Darron.
Oh, well, that's very sweet of you. Let's talk about real quick how you decided to make a film anyway. What was, because like this television show, you have to be nuts to try to do anything like
True
this.
enough.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's where it starts.
Right.
You have to be nuts. But I just like the filmmaking industry. I don't know. It's fun. And there's some things out there that, stories that I've thought of and I've heard of, that needed to be told. And I'm a person that if something needs to be done, I can't find someone to do it, I'll go and do it.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned how to do it.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about Unwanted, your documentary that's in post-production right now. Tell us about what this story is all about.
Well, it began with a phone call from a friend of mine whose niece had been arrested. This was Myrna Dick, and she was from Raymore, and I got that call the day she was arrested, and they didn't know why, and she was in the process of becoming a United States citizen. She had her whole life since she was 10, came here legally under a medical visa, and after 9/11 they changed the laws and made it retroactive, and there was something that they found in her file that didn't fit with those new laws, and they arrested her and were going to deport her for that. And because of that, I thought, someone needs to be following this in a documentary, but I was not in a position where I knew what to do. And as time went on, her case went forward, and tried to get a day in court, never was able to get a day in court to open her file and see that there was some strange things in her file that should have been reviewed, but never had the opportunity to bring them out in court. So she eventually was deported, and because of that, at that point I was at had a little bit of experience from doing some short films and being involved with the film community, that I was able to take my son, who was 15 at the time, as a cameraman and follow her story as she was deported to Mexico, went to Tijuana and followed her there. But I also interviewed a lot of other people who are caught in the system, because our system's really convoluted. So the initial intent of the documentary was to help my friend from being deported.
Right.
But that did not happen, and she could never come back to the United States. So there are other people out there that are caught in kind of like falling between the cracks, or individual cases that were brought to light because of this. And so I moved forward, and it has become a documentary that I hope will cause people to cry out for immigration reform on the national level.
Right. Okay. Now, you're also an author, and you just finished a book.
Yes.
And most people don't do this anymore. It's like the days of like the quill in the pen.
Got the old feather out. And
you're dipping the pen in the quill, doing anything like that. And you told me about this when we were going back on Facebook, which is a crazy thing. But you wrote this book with your hands.
Yes.
Not, well, instead of your feet.
Yeah.
But with you hand wrote this book.
Yes.
And now you're translating it you're typing
I'm putting
it
it on the computer, which, you know, you would think that would have been smart to do that to begin with, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But, you know, who cares?
Yeah,
You
it was
know.
just easier for me to sit down on a notebook and a pencil and, you know, or a pen and just write it out and then change things up. And when I had opportunities, because I'm a mom and I don't have a lot of time to devote to writing. So at the end of the day, when I'd be sitting in bed, I'd just like write, you know, some more pages into this notebook.
Okay.
And
real quickly, this is about the records of the Jewish people during the Holocaust, right? How they've been.
It's a fiction based on fact novel, a story that is about finding some records meticulous records that were kept during the Nazi era, and this actually occurred, and these records were kept, and also photograph albums of artwork were actually done. of items that were taken from specific people and addresses. And right now, in reality, there's a lot of valuables and artwork that are still in limbo, and lawsuits from descendants, if there are any, of these Holocaust victims that would like to get their family goods back, but there's no real way to connect who owned what. So that's the premise of this story, but I've created more intrigue with it, and some of this is based on fact as well.
I like intrigue.
Yeah.
Intrigue is good.
Made it a good story.
Intrigue. It's
That's
intriguing.
right. There's people trying to stop them from putting this right because they want to. There's still some treasures that haven't been found. Some Nazi gold hoards with a D. Yeah. That are still hidden. You know, gold hidden in caves and all that.
You guys don't have to be quiet.
Neo-Nazis want to use that money to fund putting the Fourth Reich, into
which is after
effect.
the Third Reich.
Right. This is like putting,
that.
the Hitler-like neo-Nazi rule back worldwide.
Right.
And they're putting politicians in place, and also the restoration of the Holy Roman Empire, which had been since Charlemagne up until like the early 1800s in reality, and there are people who would like to put that back. Wow. The descendants of the original.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
See?
There we go.
Well, Heidi, we appreciate you coming on with us for Kansas City After Hours online, which is, you're watching KansasCityAfterHours.com. You can watch all kinds of stuff on KansasCityAfterHours.com. You'll be hearing more about Heidi and what she's up to. Look for her documentary soon. And the name of the book is fiction based on fact. That's not the name of the book, but
the name of the book has yet to be determined. Maybe that could be a Facebook contest, but right now I'm just calling it Lost Nazi Gold, just because, that would be a great title for sales.
Is Indiana Jones in it? Is Indiana Jones?
He could be. No, he's not. But it's similar to that in the Da Vinci Code, National Treasures.
Right.
It's kind of a puzzle.
Cool. All right, Heidi Bacon, everybody. You're watching KansasCityAfterHours.com.